Welcome back. Just a quick reminder, if you have been viewing the same stream from the previous talk and you want to get the full details on the current speaker and topic, you have to back out to the agenda and click on this current session. So up next, we have Melissa Thobe, who is the Senior Product Manager at Klarna. Melissa has been working on enhancing the customer shopping journey with Klarna on key e-commerce platforms for the last 4 years. As an avid shopper and technologist herself, she's passionate about optimizing the experience not only for customers, but also for the implementers of the services, ensuring a smooth experience through the entire Klarna process. So without further ado, Melissa Thobe.
Hello, thank you all for joining this session on delivering exceptional shopping experiences through payment innovation. Like they said, I'm Melissa Thobe, Senior Partner Solution Engineer with Klarna, where I implement Klarna's service offerings into our platform partners. To start today, we're going to talk a little bit, I'll give you a quick introduction into Klarna, what we are, who we are, what we do, both globally and in the US, and then we'll jump into talking about the smooth consumer journey and how Klarna can help you achieve that along with Magento. Klarna is the largest provider of pay later services in the world. In 2017, Klarna became a bank, getting our banking license in Europe. We currently have over 3,000 employees, with over 1,000 of those employees sitting in the engineering department. This just speaks to our commitment to ensuring that we are continually evolving and providing innovative products, as well as quality products out to consumers and our merchants that we're working with. With those engineers, it's enabled us to process over 1 million transactions a day, meeting the needs of 90 million shoppers at over 200,000 retailers across the globe. Klarna currently operates across 3 continents. With 19 core markets, we recently launched in 2020. We launched a number of new markets, Australia, New Zealand, and a number of markets in the southern countries. So Spain, Italy, France, and we're committed to continue to grow with plans to launch in Ireland and Poland in 2021, which is really exciting for us to continue to see the growth and meet new market needs. So in the US, we've been growing, we've just been really growing, steady growth over the last 2 years, with over 300% growth just with year-over-year volume in the last year. It's really helped us work with a number of retailers. So we work currently in the US with over 4,000 retailers that really run across the retail spectrum. So we're working with fashion merchants, sporting good merchants, home good merchants, and beauty merchants. And this is helping us meet the needs for over 9.5 million consumers in the US market. Along with the merchants that we're working with, Klarna also has a direct-to-consumer application, which is helping boost the experience for both the consumer, the shopper, as well as the merchant. In the consumer app, the consumer is able to see their Klarna account, what purchases they've recently made with Klarna, keep track of their payment schedules and when they need to make payments, as well as doing some fun stuff like shopping at new merchants that they're discovering, saving favorites, and being notified when some of their favorite items maybe go on sale. This is also a boost to merchants because it allows merchants to get visibility to new consumers, as well as helping them be spotlighted as a merchant spotlight case on the app and to promote promotions that they have to their consumers. So let's jump into a smooth consumer journey. What do we mean when we say a smooth consumer journey? So at Klarna, we're really looking at that consumer journey as it happens across the 3 different phases of a consumer shopping cycle. So we're looking at what's happening before the checkout, what happens during the checkout, and then finally, what's happening after they've made that purchase. How can we impact all these 3 phases in a positive way for the consumer? So first, let's take a deep look at what we can do before the checkout. So really, what we think about when we're talking about before the checkout, we're really looking at how can we educate the consumer on the offers that we provide to them as early in the process as possible. So with Klarna and our on-site messaging platform, we give the merchant the ability to speak to their consumers and let them know about payment options that they're offering as early as the homepage with home banners and promotional banners, as well as those very common, payment badges that let the consumer know what payment options they have. In addition to the homepage, we're also working with providing messaging to the consumer on the product page and the cart page. Here is where we see a really big impact to help that consumer make that decision they can purchase and how they can make that purchase a reality. So with our on-site messaging on the product page placement, merchants have seen a lot of success. For example, Sephora, one of our premier merchants, has seen a 38% increase in average order value when they put that banner on their product page. It really gives that consumer the ability to understand what their purchasing power is and how they can make that purchase a reality. Now, we also know that it's important to make sure that this messaging that occurs on the product page fits with your consumers and fits with your brand and what you as a merchant want to offer. So Klarna's done a lot of work in this space, really looking at consumer research and understanding what resonates with consumers. And from a merchant perspective, working with your Klarna representatives to understand what messaging best works with your consumers within your space will really help. So we've found that just small tweaking of messages on different sites, across different sites, can really help the consumer understand and understand why or when they would want to use this product. So for example, in our first message, we see here, we're just providing very basic information. Here we're saying, you have this payment method where you can pay in 4 equal parts. Give them much more information, but they can click the learn more if they would like. In that second message, this middle message, we're going a little bit deeper. We're telling that consumer that they can pay in 4 installments, and we're giving them the exact cost that would be that would hit their bank or their account bi-weekly. So here we're saying it's $75 every other week. And in this final message here, we're speaking to a different consumer concern. Here we're talking to the consumer that this is for interest-free installments. So this is really addressing a different consumer need. And again, any of these can fit your consumer base. And so it's really up to the merchant to understand, what's going to best fit with their consumers in their space and tailoring that to what will best resonate with their consumers. So how can we do this? And don't worry, starting with Magento 2.4, Klarna's got you covered here. So we have the Klarna on-site messaging is easily configurable and enabled and the ability to enable this easily through your Magento admin and the Klarna merchant portal. So to do this, you simply log into the Klarna merchant portal, into the admin of your Magento site, navigate to your payment methods and look for the Klarna, expand, look for the configuration for Klarna on-site messaging. Within your Klarna merchant portal, you'll go to your on-site space and get this data client ID, copy that and paste it here, make a couple other selections, and this will allow you to start see that on-site messaging on your product and your cart page. So next, let's take a look at what happens during the checkout. Again, we think it's very important to educate the consumer during the process. Just like with on-site messaging, where we think it's very important to tailor that messaging to your consumers, it's also very important for a merchant to understand what payment methods is best going to work for the consumers in their space. This is taking into account both your target shopper, as well as what types of products do you offer? What are the needs of the consumers who are buying these products? So to look, Klarna has 3 different payment methods that we offer here in the US, and this varies by market. Also, I think it's important to know, so those of you who are working cross markets, we really try to tailor these payment methods to what's happening within each individual market and tailor that to what the consumer needs are within that market. So to start, we have our 4 interest-free payments. So here we're looking at that payment method, which allows a consumer to make a purchase, that purchase over 4 equal installments on a biweekly basis. This is an interest-free option. We very clearly within the checkout provide the consumer what that schedule is going to look like, and give them additional information on their payment cycle, so that it's no interest and that it's 4 $50 installments. They also always have the ability to click to learn more about that option. This payment method really works best for those aspirational purchases where maybe you're not quite sure if you have, that cash available at this time, but you're really, interested in that product. This payment method allows that consumer to make that purchase, ease that cash strap burden, and really, pay for it over time, but still get those products that they really, want. Next, we have our pay in 30 days. So this has been kind of the core product of Klarna from its inception back in Sweden in 2005. So this is where a consumer can purchase a product. They maybe, they're buying it online. Maybe they're not sure if this is the right product. They want to get it. They want to bring it, get it home, touch it, feel it, try it on, make sure it's the right product before they, have the funds leave their bank account. So this product is, again, more towards a lower end purchase. It may be, anywhere from say $30 up to like $500, but it really gives that consumer the ability to look at it, try it, feel it, make sure it's the right fit for them. And then finally, our third option is our financing option. So this is our only interest-bearing option that is available. And this is really for those bigger purchase items. So this is where we're talking about our consumer electronics, our home goods, where you're looking at items $500 and more, where a consumer needs to split that payment over a longer length of time. So this gives the consumer that ability to do that. So it gives them the freedom to, maybe get that new, computer or iPhone or washing machine, but then split that payment over time and comfortably be able to make those payments. With offering 3 different payment methods, we really see that these payment methods are not competing against each other, but they're working together. They're really complementing each other to really fit those needs and desires of consumers. So when we launched our 4 interest-free payments option in 2018, there was some concern that it would take away from what we were offering in the pay later. And what we've seen over time, that it's really not taking away from the pay later in 30 days, but really adding or addressing a different market need. And we've really, we've learned over time that this is very important to meet those individual needs of the consumer. So we feel that with our 3 different products, we're able to meet that breadth of needs of the consumer. So once again, through our work with Magento, we're really trying to make this as seamless and smooth as possible for the, both the merchants and the implementers to make this a reality. So Klarna Payments is bundled with your Magento to install. It's part of the vendor bundled extension program. So when you install your Magento 2 instance, Klarna comes with it. Again, you navigate to the payment methods section, and you can easily find Klarna, expand it, and configure your site to offer Klarna payments in the standard Magento checkout. This again requires that you have an account with Klarna, but that's a pretty easy process that you can walk through with Klarna as well. And then just like we're also trying to keep pace with what Magento's doing and what we're seeing in the marketplace. So with 241, we've added support to GraphQL to meet the needs of the market as they move towards headless. We want to make sure that we as a payment method and as a payment provider support that merchant's needs and you as an implementer's needs to service your merchants with that headless support. So finally, let's take a look at what we can do and what we can help with after the checkout process. So that purchase has been made, and now it's all about communication to that consumer. So you as the merchant are communicating to the consumer. You're letting them know that purchase has been made. You're also letting them know when items have been shipped and how that item can be tracked. But Klarna wants to make sure that our communication is going hand in hand with that merchant's. We want to provide that consumer the most information that we can so that they understand that payment method that they've chosen. They understand, how that payment schedule is going to work and what is required of them as the consumer to ensure that those payments happen on a timely and smooth manner. So Klarna, in addition to the information that's going out from the merchant, Klarna will also send out emails to the consumer. There's a consumer portal where you can log in to see your information, and then in addition, through our consumer app, very nice, concise information about all your purchases that you've made, when your payments are due or when they will be pulled from your bank account. And then we also do push notifications. So you'll get a notification to your phone when, say, your scheduled payment is due in like 2 to 3 days. So they'll let you know, like, hey, by the way, you're going to have a payment coming up. So it's really nice making sure that that consumer is informed so that they know what to expect and what's going to be happening with that account on an ongoing basis. So once again, we want to make sure that we're aligned with how these processes are working within Magento. So Klarna has, along with their Klarna payment solution, ensured that we are aligning to Magento's standard post-order process. When you go into Magento to view your orders, you will see that Klarna's presented the Klarna order ID and links directly to the Klarna merchant portal to see how that order is looking within the Klarna side as well. As you process that payment, Klarna has implemented the standard functions to align with the Magento standard functions. So if an order needs to be canceled and a cancel is executed through Magento, that order will also be canceled with Klarna. If the order is ready to be fulfilled, that an invoice is created on the Magento side, and that will then capture the order with Klarna, both full or partial capture, however that order is being fulfilled. And then finally, if an order, any reason the consumer needs to refund, or maybe you just need to provide a good faith, refund or credit to the consumer, if you execute a credit memo within the back end of Magento, that will send a refund over to the Klarna system. So the consumer will see that balance change in their Klarna account as well. So now we've kind of covered how we will support the consumer journey from all the way from pre-purchase, before the, when the consumer comes to your site. I thank you for joining me through this consumer journey and how we can help make it smooth with innovative payments. If you want more information, please feel free to visit Klarna.com or email us at magentoklarna@klarna.com. So now I guess we'll open it up to Q&A.
Thanks, Melissa. That was a pretty interesting talk for me to witness, mainly because I started working with Klarna and Magento about 7 years ago, back before there was an extension and we had to build something custom for a merchant. It's pretty stunning to see how far Klarna has come since then, at least from my perspective of it back then. And this is all really, really interesting. So if anyone has any questions, post them in chat or the Q&A section, and I will get them across to Melissa. I don't see anything right now, but a little bit of the system's been a little bit buggy today, so I'm gonna hit refresh just in case. Maddie Gaiman says, "Go Melissa." You have a fan out there.
Thank you, Maddie.
And an anonymous user had asked, has BNPL grown over the pandemic? I don't know what's BNPL, so maybe educate us on that acronym. Yeah,
so BNPL would mean buy now, pay later. Right. We have certainly seen growth over the pandemic, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. I think in April and May, we saw a lot of increase in purchases using Klarna. I think this was one, consumers weren't going out and shopping. Everything was driven to online shopping. And then two, I think consumers also needed a different way to make purchases with, everything that was happening around the country. Consumers needed the ability to make payments and maybe not purchase all that or drop all that cash up front, but being able to split those payments over time just gave them ease of mind and comfort, not knowing what was going to be happening with their jobs over time. So we definitely have seen an increase. I think it's kind of normalized a little bit more now than it was in the beginning. I think we saw a very big spike, and then we've kind of seen, continued growth, but not quite the spike that we saw at the beginning.
Okay, great. That's the only question I see right now. And I guess follow-up for me. Have you seen, as we know, in various countries, the pandemic has kind of swept in at different times. Has it been directly correlated to that, or has it just been a worldwide spike at the beginning of this year, or has it been like a slow rollout?
Yeah, I don't know if I have the details of if I've really been monitoring kind of what we're seeing on our platform partners from my perspective and my job, directly. So I haven't really taken a look at the overall and breaking it down by market per se. So I can't really speak to what we're seeing market by market and if we've seen a change over time. But I would definitely say, in that like March, April timeframe, May timeframe, we definitely saw a spike globally, which kind of makes sense with the markets that we're looking at, right? So Klarna is very heavily in the European market and North America. So there, I think, we saw a lot of those lockdowns and things happening roughly the same times in those, those two key markets.
We have another question from, I think, another anonymous user. Are there certain demographics that use Klarna more than others?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that it is it's used heavily by millennials and younger. These are, kind of the consumers that we see. A lot of them don't have credit cards anymore. So they're using, debit card only, and really maybe a little bit more reluctant to jump into that credit card side of things. So we're seeing that this is, maybe gaining in popularity with those consumers, but at that we do see it across all age ranges. We don't we see that this has really been successful across merchants that are targeting different types of consumers. So I can't say I think that's where we've seen the biggest growth, but we've also seen it really contribute success to merchants that are crossing the gamut with consumers.
Interesting. I would not pin that on millennials, but I guess I don't know too much about the industry. I don't see any other questions. I guess, one more question on my end. Mm-hmm. You've started in Europe and moved pretty quickly to North America, from my recollection. Mm-hmm. And probably I missed this part of the talk. Do you expect Klarna to expand into Asia soon?
Well, I think, we're looking at the different opportunities and the different, where we can best meet consumers' needs. I don't have any, direct say if or when we will move into the Asian market, but I know we are definitely always looking at what we can do in what markets. So Asian markets, South American markets, we're really keeping an eye on the global marketplace to educate ourselves on what our next move will be.
Okay, awesome. And the reason I ask is because just, chatting with people during the event, I've noticed that there's a lot of Asian, members from the community showing up to this event, despite it being Meet Magento New York. That's the lovely part of having an online event, right?
Yep, exactly.
So okay, sounds good. I am going to take one quick look. If anyone has any questions, this is your last chance to post them. Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll wrap up a little bit early. And oh, wait, a question just came in. Oh, and it disappeared. There's a little bit of a anonymous user again. Can you speak to any merchant success stories?
We have a number of merchant success stories. A couple of them we spoke to, here in the slide deck. So Sephora has been a really great partnership for Klarna. We also have a very strategic partnership that is a global partnership with H&M, where we've launched with H&M across, all of our core markets. These have all been very successful stories. I don't have the details on the individual merchant stories, but I really, encourage you to go check out Klarna.com. We have some merchant stories on there. If you're looking for specific Magento merchant stories, we can certainly help you with that as well. And I think we have a couple case studies that we can provide that speak to Magento merchant stories and the success that they've seen with Klarna.
Okay, great. And I guess this will be the last question because we're really tight on time. The questions just started rolling in. How easy is it to enable Klarna on M2? I guess, this is a quick question.
On Magento 2, so like I said, it comes bundled with your Magento 2 installation. So it's, as simple as signing up for Klarna and then enabling it in the back end. But as all Magento providers understand, there are a lot of configurations and different things to take into account, especially when you're hitting the checkout. So you're dealing with tax and shipping and promotions and all those different things. So we do offer support. We have a direct support line at Magento at Klarna.com. So if you run into issues with your Magento setup, contact us there. It will open a ticket with our support team and we'll help work through those issues with you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Melissa, for the excellent talk.
Yeah.
And we're going to tie up this on, move on to the next talk.
Great.
So yeah, it's great having you on.
Thank you. Thank you so much.